adult till you're 18. Do you want me to be your daddy for the next 8 years, son? Huh?
Yes, sir.
You do? Why you want me to be your daddy?
I have no daddy.
You have no daddy? Well, let me tell you something. Come here, give me a hug.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's show. Horrible news about Charlie Kirk. It's unbelievable. Well, we'll keep an eye on it, and we'll update you at the end of the show on what the latest data is. But if you don't know, he got shot today at a rally at a college, and it's horrific. And it's horrible. I mean, I don't know Charlie personally. I think we said hello to each other once or twice, and it's just nuts. At first, they said they had someone in custody. Now I'm being told that's not the guy that they think shot him, but we'll see. So we're going to wait till at the end of the show, and we'll go and we'll see if there's more news comes in. But of course, terrific, and our hearts go out to his family. That's for sure. It was horrible. But I'm here with Kurt Mexican. Hi, Kurt. How are you?
Hey, Jimmy.
So we were supposed to have Nick Fuentes on the show today. And, I have to plead ignorance because I don't know anything about Nick Fuentes. I saw that video he did that I highlighted on the show about Israel and him coming out against Charlie Kirk's position on Israel. And so I thought that had signaled a break in the right, and they were going... And that turns out that wasn't the case. I didn't know anything about Nick and Charlie had a long-standing feud, and there's so many layers to the Nick Fuentes story and America First PAC. I had no idea. I really didn't. And so I texted Nick this morning and I said, hey, there's no way I'm not anywhere near as prepared as I'm supposed to be to do an interview that would be this important, to do this justice. It's my own fault, and I apologize if I waste your time, but I am nowhere near prepared to do an interview. I thought it was interesting. I saw a couple of clips of his being critical of Donald Trump and Israel and other right-wingers about Israel, and so I thought that would be interesting. I didn't know his story is very complicated. There's a lot involved. And, I know a boy. So anyway, so there's no Nick Fuentes interview happening today. So I want to apologize, get people's hopes up. And it's all my fault. I didn't, there's I have a lot of big blind spots. I don't know about a lot of things. And,
you don't know about online Zoomer culture?
I swear to God, I know almost nothing about online Zoomer culture, and that's
good. You shouldn't. It would be suspicious if you did.
I can't believe I see these clips of these online Zoomers, and I'm like, people do this. This is what people do. Okay, and so anyway, yeah. So it's all on me. It's all my fault. My apologies for inconveniencing anybody, Nick and anybody else. It's my fault, and I should have, and there's just no way I could have prepared. I had house guests. I had to do a doctor's visit. I had to do a show last night at the Comedy Store. I just been too busy to sit down and be able to actually get prepared like I should be to do an interview like that. And so I wasn't. And so I called it off. I did. So, okay, so that's that. And we'll see. I'm going on tour. I got a 6 a.m. flight. I'm going to Appleton, Chicago, Fort Wayne, and Louisville. And then we come back here, Hermosa Beach. I'm looking forward to Hermosa Beach. And then San Francisco and Sacramento. I've been to Sacramento in probably 3 years. So I'm looking forward to Sacramento. And I love San Francisco.
Wait, you haven't been there since when I was there with you? Way
Yeah,
back when?
I think that was the last time we were there, Kurt.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
It's 3 years ago? Wow.
I think so. I think that was like 3 years ago. Sacramento has always been, always had a lot of fans. They always come out. So hopefully, but you know, our fan base, it's always evolving. It's always changing. Our, a big portion of our live show, when the people come out and see us at our live shows, are people who feel isolated because of COVID, people who didn't go along with the COVID narrative, people who either lost friends, lost family members, lost their jobs, or people who got vaccine injured and nobody would listen to them. So that's I would say at least 50% of the audience, if not more. And then of course there's a lot of the people who didn't take the vax. So they come together in a room full of people. There's not, you know, and they get to commiserate with people like-minded. Anyway, so yeah. So that's and you know what? It's just such a crazy day anyway with all the news. Wait, I'm going to talk to you right now about, Kurt, I don't know if you know about this. I didn't send you this today. I just found out about it right before we're going to air. You know what's happening in Nepal?
Oh, they're overthrowing it?
So their people are coming together to kind of overthrow their government in Nepal right now. According to CNN headline, a parliament in flames, a leader toppled. Nepal's Gen Z protesters ask what comes next. So I'll give you a quick breakdown of what's happening. There's bad economic conditions. The governments are criminals, corrupts, and they're bragging about the money that they enrich themselves with. And then they shut down social media. And when they shut down the social media, Gen Z erupted and protested. And there's videos of them chasing down finance ministers with sticks, breaking into ministers' homes and beating them. There's all kinds of video. I don't know how much I'll be able to show you, but I'll give you, this is from Trending Explained, says Nepal is trending because youth successfully forced their corrupt prime minister to resign after 4 terms and are beating corrupt ministers on the streets. That's happening. I saw the video. This is a summary of what's happening. Since 2015, when Shima Ali has been prime minister, nepotism and corruption skyrocketed. Regular citizens can't get regular jobs. All the top-paying jobs are reserved for underqualified politicians' kids or extended family members. Like Nigeria, their politicians embezzle from the national treasury without remorse. Courts no longer hold any power because of extreme open bribery. The police, military, all institutions are for sale to the highest briber. Sounds like our country. It sounds very much.
Except there would, it sounds exactly, except all riots, it would be the kids fighting each other. We would skillfully make sure they were not attacking the precious politicians.
Yes. Infrastructural development have stunted because they loot the funds for power, roads, etc. And yet the contracts are only given to political associates, not open to the public. So it's bad. It's exactly where our country's heading. So the youths and people have been complaining since 2008, but no success until their new gen influencers started using their platforms to call out the government because they are tired of migrating to get basic jobs. For 2 weeks, they started a Nepo Kid campaign, almost like what Salako did. Theirs was highlighting the luxury lifestyle of politicians' kids and families. Influencers with massive followings amplified them. Seeing the heavy criticism and complaint from the Gen Zs, on August 28th, the government asked all social media platforms to re-register in the country, set up local offices, and to give them access to their platforms under 7 days, claiming it is to prevent fraud and stop fake news disguised as a hate speech bill. Of course, whenever you see hate speech bill, that's just someone trying to control you. That they don't care about hate speech, they care about the speech that threatens power.
By the way, you're allowed to have hate speech. It's a nonsense idea.
That's a nonsense idea. I'm a grown-ass man. I get to hate whatever I want to hate. I get to hate things. Of course, the platforms failed to comply. The 7 days expired on September 3rd. And then on September 5th, the government ordered the Ministry of Communication to shut down all international social media platforms, including emails, a total of 26 platforms. The full shutdown finalized over the weekend. In reaction, just like Kenya's Generation Zs, Nepal's Generation Zs mobilized and hit the streets in thousands on Saturday, Sunday, and number tripled by Monday. The government tagged it a violent protest, imposed a curfew, and gave the police license to shoot on sight. From Monday evening, the police started shooting live rounds. 20 reportedly died. At least 400 were seriously injured. Instead, more people came out. Uh-oh, that's bad for the government. You start shooting people and more people come out? Seeing this, some of the cabinet members resigned. They're like, uh-oh, this is not good. This is like V for Vendetta stuff.
It's like the zombie movie is about like regular people alive today. That's what zombies stuff is really about.
Yeah.
You know, you can't just shoot them all. They just overrun the thing.
So some cabinet members resigned and the crowd took over the prime minister's house. They distributed themselves to all the politicians' houses. They set them on fire. They seized the National Assembly complex, demanding. So this makes January 6th look like a Boy Scout meeting. This is a real overthrow of a government, demanding the prime minister's resignation, dissolution of the entire cabinet, and an end of corruption in the country. Except the people who are rioting are these are the freedom fighters, and the people that they're rioting against are the criminals, the government. So today, the prime minister tendered his resignation, lifted the ban on social media, yet the protests continued. According to reports, politicians are fleeing the country in droves. The ones still in the country are being beaten and embarrassed on the streets. Although the prime minister's 4 terms have been bittersweet because of political differences, his long term was when he served for 3 years, 5 months from February 28th to July 13th, 2021. The other 3 times, he was removed by the alleged corrupt court twice and resigned once due to party friction. According to reports, Nepal government is now working to appease the youths and appoint an interim government, yet the protest is still fully underway. Apparently, the youth are asking for one thing: strong anti-corruption laws, systems, and judiciary. So here's a little bit of the turn. Let's turn it down because I don't want to hear the. So here's look. So there they are. Let's see. You maybe turn it up a little. Is there music? Yeah, you can turn it down. Turn it down because there's music. So it is happening. Things are going down in Nepal. They are raiding the ministers' houses. They're beating them in the streets.
Whoa.
Yeah. So you see that?
Wow.
They're chasing ministers. That's like a
high-ranking
yeah.
official. In
These
Nepal.
are officials that they're going after. So this guy is a finance minister, and they're chasing him through a river and hitting him. So I don't want to show any more of that because I don't want to get this. I want to keep this video in good standing.
Well, this is why you'll never get the real Epstein story or any of the other secrets.
Why is that?
Because of this. Because the thought of politicians, if they ever disclose,
because this would happen.
This is what would be happening to the U.S. leaders. So that's why they're never going to tell you the truth about nothing.
Yeah. So here I'll show you just a little, so you can turn it down. So here's so they're going after that guy. So that's what's happening. So that's a minister. I think pretty sure that's a finance minister. So this is the kind of thing that's happening. I don't want to show you. I don't want to show you violence.
I also don't want to hear that terrible music anymore.
Yeah. So that's what's happening in Nepal right now. That's after they tried to shut down social media. And the Gen Z was like, no, thanks. Then the cops start shooting them. And then they're like, even more people are coming out now. When that happens, it's all over.
Mm-hmm.
When you start shooting people and more people come out, it's all over.
You see that Nepo kids thing in a bunch of these countries where all that influencer crap and they flex their lifestyle, all these children of politicians.
Yeah.
And that was probably riling up Gen Z even more. One of the downfalls of converting to your whole life is online is their jealousies at people that are corrupt are going to be 10 times bigger. You know, like it's going to be a real overwrought. Then you turn off the internet and cut their drug off. Can you imagine?
So what began as a Gen Z-led social media movement against the lavish lifestyle of Nepo kids led to an ousting of a prime minister and the deadliest social unrest Nepal has seen in years. Plumes of dark smoke towered above soldiers, enforcing a curfew on the quiet streets of Kathmandu Wednesday morning as rumors swirled about a possible meeting between the leaderless Gen Z movement, the army, and the president. An uneasy calm after 2 nights of chaos that saw tens of thousands of people pour out into the streets to vent their fury, setting fire to Parliament and the Supreme Court, key symbols of state, and clashing with the government forces sent to keep them under control. The unrest started in early September when a group of young Nepalis, fed up with seeing politicians' children posting about their designer handbags and luxury travel while most people struggle to make ends meet, organized a peaceful protest. So you could turn it down again. So this is drone video shows protesters at the homes of government officials in Kathmandu. So they're at these are the homes of government officials. There's a drone. See, they're burning their houses. They're coming for them. This is what a revolution looks like. So you can only push people so far. And I've always wondered what that point is in the United States, right? When half the country you can turn it up. When half the country can't afford a $500 emergency, 70 to 80% of the country lives paycheck to paycheck. 50% of wage earners earn $30,000 or less. Half the country is poor or low income. What do you call a system that takes the richest country in the world and renders half of its residents unable to afford a $500 emergency? You call that a failed system. We're living in a failed system right now. This is failed. This is failed. So this is all duct tape and bubble gum keeping our economics, our country together right now. And people like Donald Trump, instead of putting $200 billion into infrastructure and creating jobs for people to build up our country and build parks and hospitals and drug treatment centers and schools and high-speed rail and fix the bridges and whatever. Instead of spending that, they're putting it right into the pocket of the WEF oligarchs who run the military-industrial complex, Big Pharma, and Wall Street. So we're right there. We're right there. And instead of taking $45 billion and creating affordable housing, he's going to take $45 billion and create ICE prisons. So, again, this is how all empires end, right? We're overextending militarily. We're hollowing out our own country as the oligarchs stuff their pockets with money as our system collapses. And that's what's happening. And people want to blame black people. They want to blame immigrants. They want to blame healthy 28-year-old guys who don't want to get health insurance. They want to blame everybody except the people who actually have the power and run things. And you see Donald Trump is, no matter who you vote for, you get John McCain. We're getting John McCain. We're getting John McCain. Donald Trump promised us a functioning healthcare system the first time he ran. Remember that? Didn't do it. Here it is a second time. Nobody even brings it up. Nobody even brings up a public option. Nobody even brings up anything. In fact, they're cutting healthcare for workers.
They're cutting it in time for that guy to be on trial for shooting that healthcare executive. Do you notice all of them protesting? They're not saying we want,
free
any
stuff.
kind of ism. They're saying we want strong anti-corruption.
Yeah.
And as I think that's very intelligent, because whatever everybody's stupid thing they think is going to solve the problems, none of it matters because the government's utterly corrupt.
That's right.
Way worse than Nepal. Way worse than
Your
Nepal.
government is complete. I've told people this, that they all, Jimmy, you think there's a secret cabal of people who have these secret meetings. It's not a secret meeting. It's called a session of Congress. So when you see a session of Congress, you think that those people in there are doing the biddings of sick people or children or the elderly or workers. They're in there doing the bidding of the oligarchs. That's the whole point of a session of Congress. And they're splitting up the money, and you ain't getting any of it. So, anger had been brewing for years about the country's worsening youth unemployment crisis, the lack of economic opportunities, exacerbated by what many viewed as the growing disparity between the country's elite and regular people. It's what we're living in right now. They're hollowing out the middle class. So there's haves and have-nots. That's what used to make the United States great, is we had a strong middle class, we had strong unions, and people could work one job and they could raise a family. They could have a summer home, they could send their kids to college, and their wife stayed home and took care of the kids. That was the world I grew up in. My dad had 12 kids. He worked 2 jobs. He was a cop, and he did brickwork. But he didn't do it year-round because it was the winter. He did it mostly in the spring, summer, and fall. But he raised 12 kids, and my mom stayed home and took care of everybody. Can't do that now. Plus he had a house, and plus my dad took a month vacation every year.
Wow, I knew you were a Nepo baby.
My dad got 4 weeks off from the police department, and he got in a camper, and he went camping for 4 weeks every year. Word quickly spread. So you can't do that stuff. That stuff is out of reach for people. And we had a house. We owned our house. Word quickly spread in the Himalayan country of 30 million. Then a government ban last week on more than 24 social media platforms, including Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp, added fuel to the fire. The buildup of the frustration was what led to this movement. And the banning of the social media ban was the last straw. The unemployment rate for youth. So anyway, so you get it. So bad. They're not taking care of the people. They're extracting wealth upward. They're like, this is exactly what's happening in this country. You know, during COVID lockdowns, it smashed everybody. We created 400 new billionaires. I think check my number on that, but I'm pretty sure I'm right.
In the mafia, it's all just mafia. They just,
yes,
what does mafia do?
We're a mafia.
Drain the wealth.
Yeah,
burn the thing down.
That's right. So when they banned the social media is when that was the final. The protests quickly spiraled out of control when some of the protesters surged toward the parliament building and began climbing up the gate, clashing with police. Police used live ammunition, water cannons, tear gas against protesters. Nearly 19 people were killed and hundreds were wounded, and but that didn't stop them. Several government ministers, including the Home Minister, resigned in the wake of the violence, which sparked widespread outrage, both within Nepal and internationally. On Tuesday, the protests ballooned as people of all ages defied curfews, came out into the streets and protested the government's bloody crackdown. Gen Z demanded accountability for the fair investigation for this corruption, the luxury lifestyle of all these corrupted politician kids. But unfortunately, what we saw was the government using excessive force and murdering these youths. Protesters smashed windows, looted local businesses, set government buildings on fire. The country's main international airport reopened on Wednesday after being shut down for 24 hours because of the violence. The Supreme Court and the Singh Durbar, a sprawling palace complex in Kathmandu, which houses Nepal's government ministries, were both set on fire. Video appeared to show demonstrators ransacking the prime minister's private residence on Tuesday. Crowds of protesters could be seen breaking into the property and destroying furniture, setting it alight. I think that means aflame. Laya, pants aflame.
What's that from?
Instead of saying liar, pants on fire.
Oh, you just made it up? It's aflame.
Pants aflame. Len Ostrovich used to say that.
Blame.
The protests, which are led by people ages 13 to 28, the cohort known as Generation Z, are Nepal's worst unrest in years. Gen Z protesters spoke to CNN, distanced themselves from the chaos that followed, which they blamed on opportunists. They destroyed everything. There's not just the buildings. They're not just bricks. They carry our history, our legacy. Oli announced his resignation, that's the prime minister, on Tuesday in a letter that cited the extraordinary situation in the country, according to a copy. A dark cloud of smoke hung over the Kathmandu as the city burned. There it is. There it is. There's a city burning. There's the dark cloud. What comes next is uncertain. Nepal's president has urged demonstrators to cooperate for a peaceful resolution and called on youth protesters to come to talk. It was unclear as of Wednesday whether any talks were scheduled between authorities and the decentralized leaderless youth-led protest movement. Several protesters who spoke to CNN said they want to see new leadership with more Gen Z representation. I think Nepal is ready to see the young faces along with the experienced ones. Yeah. Here's a little bit more. Turn it down. This is the parliament in Nepal. Adam tweets out, he says, this is better than voting. Well, when it comes, that's what I've been saying. We're not going to be able to vote our way out of this. Just like George Washington couldn't vote his way out of it. Remember what George Washington did? You remember what George Washington did? What did he do? Think about it. They had a violent revolution. They picked up arms, George Washington, and then had a violent revolution. Here's some of it. So here's...
Well, Jimmy, that was from God.
That's the parliament. So that, I think that's what happens when voting doesn't work.
Do we not have any business interests
but
in
the
Nepal?
the youths in Nepal celebrated that the army defended them from being attacked by the police. So
Wait, were they communist, Jimmy, or no? Just very corrupt and free trade.
I'm going to guess the latter.
Yeah.
So the army protected the army stood with the people. The police shot the people. The army stood against the police, and here they are thanking them. So they're celebrating the army for protecting civilians who are protesting a completely criminal, corrupt government. And then when the police started shooting them, the army stepped in and protected the people from the police. Here is Gen Z in Nepal making dance video reels after burning their parliament. Ready? Here we go. So you see the fire behind them. That's probably a minister's house. So it's on in Nepal. So I wonder if this makes the oligarchs at all nervous in the United States. I don't think so. I think they're out of touch. And I think they can do whatever they want. And right now they can. And they're doing whatever they want.
They do whatever they want.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Does this guy have a bell on his head that he's hitting while it's on his head?
What's that?
Does that guy have a big bell on his head that he's hitting?
Let me see. Take your shirt off for a second. Oh, it looks like it. Yeah, it looked like it.
That was the rest of it.
Anyway, so that's what happens when you make the vote not count. That's what happens when no matter who you vote for, you get John McCain. And that's what Donald Trump's giving us right now. He's, look what just happened in Qatar, right? That we're going to talk about it. That's Israel, again, being the terrorists that they are, and Donald Trump facilitating it. So we're getting foreign wars. We're getting an exploding missile weapons to Pentagon budget that can't pass an exploding deficit. All the things, and it'd be one thing if we print $1 trillion every like 100 days.
Mm.
It'd be one thing if we took that money and we're spending it on people in the United States. If we were giving people health care, drug treatment centers, psychiatric help, affordable housing, parks, schools, infrastructure, bridges, high-speed rail. It'd be one thing if we were investing in our own country. Hey, we're spending $1 trillion every 180 days in the United States building up our country. Isn't that amazing? No. That money gets printed. It devalues your dollar. And it goes right into the pockets of the crooks that are the international globalists running everything.
They're trying to crash the dollar on purpose. First of all, they just got to get as much of whatever their like secret game of snapping up other people's land, whatever the goal is, they're not telling you. They got to get it done and have the dollar good and crash in time for your central bank currency. We almost got the Golden Dome, and we got all the people installed that can control all the media, like really control it. And then central digital currency. That's the goal. Nothing they're doing indicates not trying to destroy the entire economy.
That's right.
It's a absolutely on purpose demolition. It's not incompetence.
Right.
It's not greed. There's a purpose to it. Once you have all the money, greed isn't a factor. Then it's power and legacy, and that's what this is going to be about.
And
they've openly said it. Again, not a thing Alex Jones made up. The New World Order is a thing they've all been talking about for the last 80 years.
Okay, and what you should be talking about is coming to see me do comedy in Chicago, Rosemont, Fort Wayne, Hermosa Beach. See us in Hermosa Beach, San Francisco, and Sacramento. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. Over to Steph.
And just so you know that Trump did announce Charlie Kirk died.
Holy cow.
Dude, when this happens and then the news goes, close Trump ally, like they can't just say a person died. They have to make it, put that little subliminal thing in there so you know if you're supposed to celebrate on Twitter instead of just feel bad somebody got murdered. They do that every time. It's such like a deliberate, it's like this deliberate, what they do with like drill rap. You're supposed to just hate the other side no matter what. And then him being killed does nothing to help anyone. But you're supposed to take some satisfaction in that because you can never have a house, I guess.
I wonder who actually did that. I wonder if that was a sniper. I wonder what that is. I wonder if there's more to behind this than, but who, this is all, again.
MSNBC just said, hey, maybe someone was celebrating and fire.
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
You don't say that by mistake. You say that on purpose to cause anger and stir up shit.
So I want to let you know.
Go back to Jimmy.
So what was happening is they were having a meeting in Qatar, which is we have the biggest military base the United States has. I think one of the biggest ones is in Qatar. And so they're a big ally of the United States. And they were having meetings to try to end the war, the Israel-Hamas war. And what did Israel do? They bombed it, tried to kill all the people who were there to negotiate. That's what happened. Sources told Middle East Eye that the attack was blessed by President Trump. Oh, is there? Okay. Hang on a second. Go to Steph. Read some super chat.
All right. So, a couple of you from Rockfin had some interesting comments. Let's see about the Nepal. Let's see. Here we go. Krish, the Duran and the other alt media are saying the activities in Nepal are a US/CIA color revolution, like in Georgia and Serbia and Ukraine in 2014, happened right after India and China had a rapprochement. Okay. And then you come back and say, watch for color revolution in Indonesia next. US is getting desperate. Krish. Or is it just Chris H? Message from Roger Meadows. Before we start celebrating the overthrow of Nepal government, understand if you do not have a parallel system already built in for you to transition to, then what will happen, as always happens after every revolutionary war, is at least one civil war. Okay. Friends become foes, allies become adversaries, families become enemies because of a vacuum of power needs to be filled. Everyone will be vying for. Thank you, Roger.
Hey everybody, it's Jimmy. That's me, Jimmy Dore. That's right. I'm the host of the Jimmy Dore Show. Did you know that? We know you're proud to be a fan and a supporter of the show, but do your friends, your family, your neighbors, and random strangers you pass on the street, do they know? Maybe not. And just as you like to keep informed by watching the Jimmy Dore Show, you can inform all those important and not so important people in your life about your love of the show with one of these, It's the authentic and branded Jimmy Dore Show t-shirts. We've got the classic logo, Jimmy Dore, and we also have the Jimmy Dore Show pop art. Look at that. Look at that. Nice, And we also have one of my favorites. It's the Frederick Douglass quote. I would unite with anybody to do right and with nobody to do wrong. It's all available now at our website. Just go to jimmydore.com, then shop the merch, and you'll see there and many more options. And just click on mugs. Also, how about mugs? We got the mugs made in America. This is one of my favorites. It says "Vaxxed and Worried." Nice. We also have
that'll go over big with the guests.
My favorite. This is a great mug. It says "Made in America" on the bottom. Jagoff, very thick, nice handle, thick glass. I love this one. Plus, we have stuff like this over there.
Mouse
pads. We got your Jimmy Dore Show stickers and logos, and we got your what do you call those? Coasters. Look at that. Look at this. Coasters, more coasters. So, and